Do you ever feel like the second half of life is supposed to be relaxing, but sometimes it's just lonely? Maybe you've lost a lifelong partner. Perhaps your adult kids are busy, or you just feel like the person looking back at you in the mirror has changed, and you're struggling to keep up. If you've ever found yourself asking, is this all there is to my later years? Then stop scrolling. Because the biggest secret to a vibrant life after 60 isn't about the right diet or the perfect exercise routine. It's about radically re-engineering your mental landscape in 3 key areas: relationships, self-esteem, and happiness. And today, we're not just talking about quick fixes. We're talking about deep, transformative guidance that can turn your golden years into your most fulfilling years. Now, let's dive straight into the first and perhaps most critical area that often gets shaky in later life: relationships. Think about your social circle right now. Is it an expanding, vibrant network, or has it contracted into just a few names? As we age, life naturally prunes our connections. Retirements, moves, and sadly, loss all play a part. But here is the profound truth. Social connection is a biological necessity, not a luxury. Studies show that chronic loneliness is as detrimental to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So, how do we rebuild and fortify our relationship foundations when the ground feels a little shaky? It begins with the power of intentional connection. We often wait for calls or invitations to come to us. But in this season of life, you need to become the chief architect of your social life. Start small. Make a list of 5 people you genuinely admire and enjoy being with, but haven't spoken to in months. Don't wait for a perfect occasion. Send a simple, personalized text. I was just thinking about you and remembering that trip we took. How are you doing? This small act of initiation not only brightens their day, but immediately shifts your own mental state from passive waiting to active engagement. Next, we must talk about bridging the generational gap. Your relationships with your children and grandchildren are invaluable, but they require a different kind of nurturing now. Too many seniors fall into one of 2 traps: either over-involvement, offering unsolicited advice and commentary on their kids' lives, or under-involvement, retreating completely and waiting to be asked. The sweet spot is becoming the wise connector. This means sharing your experiences without attaching a mandate to them. When your adult child shares a problem, instead of saying, "You should do this, try, that sounds really tough. When I was facing something similar, here's what I learned, but I know your situation is unique." This preserves their autonomy and honors your wisdom. For grandchildren, be the storyteller, the teacher of lost arts, the memory keeper. Teach them how to bake that special recipe, how to tell a story without a screen, or share what the world was like when you were their age. These are gifts only you can give, and they solidify your place as an essential, not just an auxiliary, figure in their lives. But relationships are not just about family. They're about finding your new tribe. Retirement often strips away the daily social interactions we took for granted at work. This creates a vacuum that must be consciously filled. This is the time to pursue those passions you put off. Join the book club, take the pottery class, volunteer at the local library, or finally learn to play the ukulele. These activities aren't just hobbies. They are relationship incubators. The shared interest immediately gives you common ground, and the routine exposure builds trust and familiarity. And when you find someone you connect with, be brave. Ask them to grab coffee or take a walk. Remember, everyone in that class or group is likely looking for the same thing: connection. Don't let the fear of a small, awkward moment block a potentially profound connection. This journey of intentional relationship building also forces us to address one of the toughest challenges, dealing with loss and grief. The heartbreak of losing someone close can make us want to pull the shades down and stop trying. This is a natural reaction, but it's a dangerous long-term strategy for your mental health. Allowing yourself to grieve fully is necessary, but there comes a time when honoring the memory of a loved one means choosing life and choosing connection, the very things they would have wanted for you. Seek out support groups. These are safe havens where you can share your pain with others who truly understand and the shared. Vulnerability creates some of the most powerful and supportive relationships you will ever form. Finally, in this section on relationships, let's talk about the art of deep listening. In all your interactions, make a commitment to not just wait for your turn to speak, but to truly hear the person in front of you. Put your phone away, make eye contact, and ask follow-up questions. That demonstrates genuine curiosity. That sounds interesting. Tell me more about that. Or how did that make you feel? Deep listening is a profound act of respect, and it's the fastest way to turn an acquaintance into a friend. And while you're focused on giving attention, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more life-changing content like this to people who need it most. It's an easy way to build your own community of like-minded individuals focused on thriving in their later years. So, relationships in later life are about agency, taking charge of your social calendar, learning to relate to family on their terms, joining new communities, and practicing the deep, respectful art of listening. Now, you might be thinking, that's great, but what if I don't feel worthy of that connection? What if I feel like I'm a burden? That brings us perfectly to our next interconnected pillar, self-esteem. That brings us perfectly to our next interconnected pillar, self-esteem. For many of us, our sense of self-worth was intrinsically tied to what we did. Your job, your role as a parent of young children, your ability to perform certain physical feats. Then, suddenly, those titles change. The desk is empty, the kids are grown and gone, and maybe the knees don't quite handle the tennis court like they used to. When those external markers of success fade, it's easy for the little voice in your head to start whispering doubts. Am I still relevant? What's my purpose now? This stage of life requires a deliberate, conscious shift from role-based self-worth to value-based self-worth. You are not defined by what you produce. You're defined by the qualities you possess. How do we build this unshakable sense of inner value? It starts with the inventory of wisdom. Take a moment, grab a journal, and list every major life challenge you've overcome. A financial hardship, a health scare, raising teenagers, surviving a difficult boss, a global pandemic. Every one of those experiences is a masterclass you've successfully completed. These are not just memories. They're proof of your resilience, your tenacity, and your deep well of inner strength. When that little voice of doubt starts up, you can now counter it with tangible evidence. I handled that, so I can certainly handle this. Your past struggles are not scars. They are your credentials. The second powerful tool is the rule of novelty and mastery. Nothing boosts self-esteem like the feeling of learning something new, especially when you think you're too old for it. It doesn't have to be massive. Start learning a language, master a tricky Sudoku puzzle, figure out how to edit photos on your phone, or learn to play that one guitar chord you always avoided. When you successfully master a new, small skill, you send a powerful message to your brain. I am still capable of growth and learning. This active engagement combats the feeling of stagnation and reinforces your mental agility. It proves that your best years for learning are not behind you. They are now because you have the time and the focus This ties into the critical concept of purposeful contribution. One of the quickest ways to feel relevant and valuable is to contribute something meaningful to the world around you. Purpose is the antidote to irrelevance. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Maybe it's mentoring a young professional, reading to children at the library, serving on a community board, or simply using your honed organizational skills to help a local nonprofit. When you are needed and when your unique skills are utilized, your self-esteem doesn't just improve, it soars. You move from feeling like a spectator in life to an active participant, and that internal shift is monumental. Let's be honest, physical changes are part of aging, and they can impact how we feel about ourselves. Here, the key is acceptance without resignation. Acceptance means recognizing that your body is changing, and that is a natural, beautiful part of the human journey. Resignation means giving up on taking care of it. To boost self-esteem through physical care, focus on functional fitness and radical self-kindness. Functional fitness means exercising not to look like you did at 30, but to maintain the strength, balance, and flexibility needed to live the life you want, to pick up your grandkids, to garden, to travel independently. Radical self-kindness means replacing harsh self-criticism, I shouldn't have wrinkles, or I'm too slow, with gentle self-talk. I'm grateful for this body that has carried me through decades of life, or I will move in a way that nourishes me today. Treat yourself with the same loving respect you would offer a cherished lifelong friend. Remember that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a superpower. Don't be afraid to talk about your struggles with someone you trust, a therapist, a close friend, or a spiritual advisor. Hiding your pain only reinforces the idea that you're broken or flawed. Sharing it is an act of courage that validates your experience and opens the door to healing and genuine connection. True self-esteem comes from accepting your whole self, the strengths and the struggles. If you're finding this guidance helpful, please hit that like button right now. Every like tells YouTube that this message is vital and helps us share this deep, expert advice with more people over 60 who are ready to embrace their best life. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming guides on mastering health and happiness. Now that we've built a foundation of strong relationships and robust self-esteem, we arrive at the final, beautiful culmination, happiness. Many people spend their lives chasing a feeling of happiness, only to find that it's often an elusive target. In later life, we learn that happiness is not an external event. It is an internal practice. It's less about what happens to you and more about how you process what happens. The central practice here is cultivating gratitude and awe. When you wake up, before you check your phone or the news, mentally list 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for. Not vague things like my health, but specific, tangible moments. The warmth of this first cup of coffee, the way the sun hit the leaves outside my window, or the good conversation I had yesterday with my friend. This daily practice rewires your brain's focus from deficiency to abundance. Furthermore, intentionally seek out moments of awe, the feeling of being in the presence of something vast and overwhelming. Look up at the night sky, watch the ocean waves, listen to a powerful piece of music, or stand amidst a majestic forest. All pulls you out of your small, self-centered worries and reminds you of the incredible, beautiful world you are a part of. This feeling is a profound source of instant, authentic happiness. We must also talk about the power of letting go. Happiness is often blocked not by current problems, but by the heavy baggage of past resentments, hurts, and failures. Holding on to old grievances is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiveness is not about excusing the other person's behavior. It is a self-care ritual that releases you from the prison of the past. Look for opportunities to write letters you never send, or to simply state, "I forgive that person, not for them, but for my own peace." Releasing the need to be right about old conflicts frees up enormous emotional and mental energy that can be channeled directly into the present moment, where happiness actually lives. Finally, embrace the joy of imperfection. Perfectionism is the great thief of happiness. In later life, we have the wisdom to know that life is messy. People are flawed, including ourselves, and plans rarely go off without a hitch. The happiest seniors are the ones who can look a mistake, laugh at themselves gently, and move on. They understand that joy is found in the process of living, not just the successful outcomes. Give yourself permission to try something new and fail beautifully. That ability to be lighthearted and accepting of life's inevitable bumps is the ultimate expression of inner peace and a sustainable source of happiness. That ability to be lighthearted and accepting of life's inevitable bumps is the ultimate expression of inner peace and a sustainable source of happiness. To truly cement this happiness practice, you must master the art of intentional indulgence. This isn't about extravagance. It's about giving yourself permission to deeply enjoy small, accessible pleasures. What brings you genuine, uncomplicated joy? Is it a perfect cup of tea while reading a physical book? Is it spending an hour in the garden with soil between your fingers? Is it listening to the music of your youth? Make time for these things every single day. Don't wait until the to-do list is finished. It never will be. These small, mindful moments of pleasure are the glue of a happy life. They anchor you in the present and remind you that you are worthy of simple, pure enjoyment. This is not selfish. It is essential soul maintenance. And finally, under the banner of happiness, let's talk about legacy and meaning. For many over 60, true, lasting contentment comes from realizing that their life mattered. Your legacy isn't just about what money you leave behind. It's about the ripple effect of your life. It's the values you instill in your family, the lessons you pass on to your community, and the kindness you practice every day. Take time to document your life stories, perhaps through video or writing for your family. By actively thinking about and curating the meaning of your life, you shift your focus from past regrets or future anxieties to the richness of your present contributions. The deep satisfaction of knowing you have lived a good, meaningful life is perhaps the truest form of long-term happiness. So, let's bring it all together. We've talked about re-engineering your mental life through 3 powerful lenses. Relationships. Be the chief architect of your social calendar. Practice deep listening and intentional connection. Your tribe is waiting for you to lead. Self-esteem. Shift your identity from what you did to who you are. Take an inventory of your wisdom. Embrace novelty. And find a purpose that allows you to contribute your unique skills. Happiness. Cultivate daily gratitude. Let go of past resentments and fully embrace the joy of simple, intentional indulgences. This is not a checklist of things to do. It is an invitation to be more connected, more self-assured, and more deeply joyful. Your golden years are not a slow fade. They're a powerful, purposeful, and vibrant new chapter waiting for you to fully step into your role as the wise, engaged, and happy person you're meant to be. I want you to take one small action today, right now, based on this guidance. Send that text to a friend you miss, or write down one thing you're proud of achieving in your life. Don't put it off. If this video resonated with you, and you are serious about optimizing your mental and physical health in your 60s and beyond, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We are a community dedicated to thriving, not just surviving. And leave a comment below telling me, which of the 3 pillars, relationships, self-esteem, or happiness, are you going to focus on first? I read every one of your comments, and they inspire our future content. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember, the journey to a richer, happier life starts right here, right now, with the choice you make to engage. Go out there and live your most vibrant life. You've earned it.